button is pressed. Okay, any questions? Nope.
Too many, Peter. I haven't got all night.
Robert?
Okay, oh, here's a couple more.
Hello, Peter.
Hey, Rob.
I just got in from my travelling around the district.
Okay. All right, that's better. All right, so you should have a piece of music up on your screens now. Good luck charm. All right, so I thought we should run through a few more of these and look at some various things. So let's start with this one. So, so what's the key?
F major.
F major.
F major.
How do we know that?
It's one flat. You told us.
You have to remember one flat is F.
Yeah, so one flat
flat.
is F major, but it could be in a minor key. So what would the minor key be if it was in a minor key?
D minor.
D.
D minor, correct.
D with D sharp.
No, D.
All right.
And so,
The wrong way.
so how do we know that this is F major and not D minor?
Because all barbershop is almost always in major keys.
There's two Fs there.
So we got F and F in bass and Barry,
Mhm.
and then we've got a C in the lead and an A in the tenor. So what chord is that?
That's an F major chord.
Correct,
F-
FAC. It's a straight vanilla F major chord, nothing weird there. So yes, you're absolutely right. We are in F major. So tell me, is this arrangement being done for men or women?
Well, it says women up the top there.
Done.
Very good.
Okay, so if it didn't say women up the top there, how would we tell?
It says I can't read music.
That little 8 on top of the
Can't
bass
see
flat means it's higher.
Yeah, so there's a little 8 in the bass clef, which says it's up an octave, and we've got a treble clef without an 8, which says that it's as written, so therefore it's going to be for women. What would it look like if it was for men?
8 below the treble clef and
It would be
straight bass clef. But
So
where
here's
does it
one.
say? Where does it say for women? That's the bit I can't see.
I scrolled it off the screen, but Paul beat me to it. He already saw it. There it is.
Ah, right.
Okay, yeah.
You've got to get up pretty early to beat these school teachers. You know.
These for men, but they've got to have female voices.
Well, true. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So it could be for gender fluid people, gender fluid voices or something like that.
Yes.
It could be for anyone, but generally speaking, this version here is for women because the bass is up an octave and the treble's as written, whereas this one here is for men because the treble clef is down an octave and the bass clef is as written. Okay, let's go back to Good Luck Charm. Okay, so this note here, what's it called as far as the rhythm of the note? What's that rhythm called?
Quaver.
Correct. Quaver. What about this one?
It's a
Dotted
dotted crotchet.
Correct. So how many beats for a dotted crotchet?
1 and a bit.
Half.
1.5. Yes, 1.5. So it adds half of the value of the note. The dot adds half of the value of the note. What about this one?
Quaver.
Quaver.
Quaver. So what's the difference rhythm-wise between this note here and this note here?
None at all.
No difference.
Correct. Very good. So it's just it's often a choice that the arranger or the whoever's writing out the music makes. Okay, good. What's this little sign? Oh, you know that. I don't need to go over that stuff. Okay, yell out if there's anything here that you don't know or you want to talk about.
Just scroll up to bar 8 again.
Bar 8, yes.
Oh, okay. Looked a bit funny because there's a minim followed by a rest, but I couldn't see. Then it scrolled out of sight before I caught the other crotchet, and I thought, well, that's funny because we were in 4/4 when we started. It's just the fact that the rest is so far up on the stave. It looks a bit weird.
Yeah, so in the lead tenor line, we've got a crotchet note with a crotchet rest, which is why the crotchet is up high. In the bass barry line, they both have a rest, so they just have a single rest, and that counts for both of them because it's in the middle.
So the tenor, the barry, and the bass would hold their note for 3 beats. Sorry, 2 beats.
This note, yes.
Take a rest. So the lead is the only one singing on.
Correct.
And then it comes in with the and. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Pete is
Very
the
good.
only one singing come and on.
Well, while the lead sings come, the bass, barry, and tenor are still holding you.
Correct.
Technically. In practice, we would want the bass, barry, and tenor to hold that U as long as they could and take it probably even a quaver rest for their breath rather than a whole crotchet. But as far as the actual written music is concerned, the word on is the only note that's on its own with the lead singing that.
All right. Be my little good luck charm.
That's the one. Oh, look at this. We've got a key change from 1 flat into 6 flats. Welcome to Barbershop. So what key are we in here now? We've got 6 flats going on.
Hopefully G flat major.
How do we know it's G flat major and not the relative minor?
I have to check now.
So let's check.
99% of all barbershop songs are in major keys.
That's
And
true.
I'm only going to be wrong one time out of 100.
There's always that one. That's, yeah. Okay, so what's the chord on no?
Sorry, Barry.
A G,
So on bar 19, on the word no, what's the chord?
a G, and another, and a B.
Flat.
G flat, D flat, and E flat.
So what's your clefs there? So with the bottom note in the bass is G flat.
D flat.
In the barry is D flat. So this is 1 and 5 if it's G flat major, which I think we can pretty confidently say it is. And in the tenor part, it's B flat, which is the 3rd. Okay, so all's well. What do these little dots here mean?
This is get to borrow the melody.
Yeah, the basses have the
Melody
melody.
has gone to the bass.
From the bass.
And the melody changeover. Peter, there's a big line
Oh, there's a double flat there.
up there further. It was a very long horizontal line put in there. Looking here, it must indicate a hold. Can
Where
you go
are we?
further back? There.
Here?
Yeah, that long line.
This one?
Yeah.
That's for the word tonight, and it's
Night.
just saying hold the word night all the way through
All right.
That's for the leads.
for the leads and
Just the leads. All
that's
right.
it.
It's the same as in the tenors and the basses. Just go back up again, except that it crosses a line break.
Yeah, so there's a little one
And they've
here.
got the same line.
There's a little one here, and there's a
Right.
little one here. Sometimes these
Yeah.
lines can go
So-
for bars and bars and bars if you're singing ooh, for example, or whatever. So
Yeah, I meant 17 and 18 actually.
Yep.
Sorry, I meant 18.
Mm.
But it's the same thing. It just crosses
Yep.
a line.
Is that standard notation, or is Mr. Dale just being nice?
no, that's very standard.
Is it
Yeah,
providing-
most
'cause
Not all arrangers will do that, but most software these days will put that line in for you so you can see that you're holding that note through.
Oh.
Yeah, my software, which is
Okay.
reasonably basic and quite old, does it. So yeah. Okay, what's this little
It doesn't
thing?
make any sense if you take that bar out of context, because it has to have the previous bar to see what it is you're holding.
Correct, yeah. What's this sign here?
It's a double flat.
Correct. What does double flat mean?
Cohabitation.
Means half a semitone lower than the note would normally be, which is that is a B. So it's
So
the-
Nigel, I know you're a lead
the half a
and leads sing half semitones, but for the rest of us, we try not to sing half semitones. So
Did I say half a semitone?
you did indeed say half a semitone. So what in
Yeah,
fact is a
yeah.
double flat?
It's a semitone lower than the flat the note would be normally, but the note normally would be B flat, so it's a semitone lower than B flat.
Correct. Yeah, or two semitones lower than B. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Anything else? What does this mean? Excel.
It means you have to invite your quartet to
Get a bit
Yes.
fast.
sing there, because it's
Well done.
Accelerando.
You got the right answer. Thank you, Nigel. But other than that, like if my quartet wasn't around, what would you do there?
I'd sing it faster to get it over done quickly.
Yeah, good idea. So speed up. Very good.
But
Is that what it
it stands for Accelerando, does it not?
Does indeed. Yes. What are the little X's for?
Notes cross over.
Swapped.
The
Yeah,
parts cross over.
two parts are crossed. Yeah.
Mhm.
What's this funny little squiggle?
Oh, that's a slide.
It is. That's a slide. We all like those bits. What's this little half moon with a dot?
Can I go back
Pause.
and look at that
Pause.
slide, please? That's new to me.
Hold it.
Hang on. So tell me about the half moon first.
It's
The
a
pause.
marker.
Pause. Yeah. How much extra time do you hold a pause compared
As
to
long
what's
as
As long as you want.
MD says so.
good answer? Boy,
Yeah.
you're doing well tonight.
Actually, Peter, that the curve with the dot underneath it, I've realised what it is. It's a view of you looking down. So there's your head and your hands.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's what it is.
It means watch the
Right.
director.
Do as
Okay.
much as Pete says. See this much.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I thought it was his tummy. Mm.
Oh, careful. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh,
Boy, the party's getting rough.
Director in plan view.
Okay.
Peter, just
Go
on,
back to us.
on 62 and maybe 61, there are little tiny notes,
Yeah.
which I know as grace notes.
Oh, that's unusual, isn't it?
Okay, so there's two different sorts of notes here. We haven't talked about these yet. So these ones are called grace notes. This one, when it has a little stroke through the tail, is called a crush note. And they're slightly different.
Isn't this the note that you tell the leads off for, where you sort of
Hooping.
forget what you call it, but it's where you say get straight to the note instead of coming up to it.
Yeah, kind of. This thing here, this is what I tell the leads off for. You know, when they start about a fifth below the note and slide all the way up, which usually happens on the first note. Yeah, so not really grace notes. So a grace note and a crush note, let's not worry too much about the technical difference between them. They're just kind of little notes that they don't have a specific time attached to them, but they're fast, relatively fast. And they're just kind of put in just before you sing the main note. That's probably enough for
An
us.
embellishment.
They're an
Can you
embellishment.
give us an example of how to sing the penultimate note or penultimate notes in the bar 62 in the Barry line?
So the Barry part would be Ah, ah. Whatever the words were, I didn't even worry about words, but
One more time.
ah.
Hmm.
But that may not be how the director chooses to do it, but that's technically how you would sing that as far as music notation is concerned. Given that this is a tag, you would probably draw those out and milk every second of them and make them really long. What is this? All night. I don't even know. Oh, good luck charm. Yeah, I know when we actually when our quartet sang this song, we chose not to do those. We felt that it didn't really add much to the song. And I think OC Times don't do them either. So, you know, it's barbershop, so we ignore things that we don't like. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Get me to the church on time.
Paul wanted to look at the slide, I think.
What was that?
Paul
Oh,
wanted to look
Paul,
at
yeah,
the
he wants to
slide.
look at the slide. Okay, here's our slide
Yeah,
again.
you race through it. It's just something I've never seen before.
Okay. Yeah, so reasonably common notation for slide. It means glissando, technically. That's the correct term for it, but we don't need to know the word. It just means you slide from that note up to the next one. And again, there's no particular time that you need to get there or whatever. It's just however fast or slow you want to do it.
But it is meant to be smooth. It's not meant to be like that, like the actual sign itself.
No, it should be smooth. So, ha, yeah, so it's definitely a slide, not a step between semitones and that sort of thing.
But you are singing those semitones, aren't you, to get to the up to the other note?
You are, but you're passing through each one.
Yeah.
But it's a very smooth slide. It's not meant to be chunky with steps between.
You're meant to sing every possible frequency between the starting and the ending pitch, right?
Correct, yes. Okay, get me to the church on time. What key?
Oh, two flats.
B flat major.
B flat major, okay. Or what would be the relative minor? G minor. Okay, so what key is this? Of course it's B flat, but let's work it out.
So the Barrys have got a C.
So always start with the bass. Always start with the bass.
I don't know those ones. D, is it?
That's a D, correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's look first at the chord in the first full bar. That's usually going to tell us the key, more likely than this first chord. We've got a pickup measure. There's only one note in that bar. So the note on Ma is the one that will probably give us the key. So what have we got on that? This one here.
G, A, B flat, and the G. So there's two Gs. Or are they G flats? No Gs. Yep.
G.
I would start with the bass, which is.
Sorry, I'll turn that off.
So we got G, G, B flat, and D. So what chord is that?
G, B, D,
G major.
Major. G.
Is it?
Flat major.
Is it?
G major.
Is it?
G, B, D.
G, B flat, and D is
G, B, D.
G, B natural, then D is G major. G, B flat, and D is
another.
G minor.
C flat for D and the D.
This is G
Is it that
minor
simple?
chord. It is that simple. G.
Okay.
So G B D is G major. G B flat D is G minor. So in fact, this piece begins in a minor key. Now there's something else that tells us that it might be in a minor key. Anyone know what it is? One of the,
You wanted one
Two
to prove me wrong.
yes, that's right. Actually, I didn't even notice that. I didn't check the songs when I brought them up. I just put a pile of songs up here. But there you go. So there's something else other than the first chord that tells us that we might be in a minor key.
Two flats.
No, that could be major or minor. It's not the key signature. So if you look at the very
I was going to
first
say
note.
lots of accidentals.
Sorry, I missed that, Phil. Say that again.
Lots of accidentals.
Yeah, so lots of accidentals. But so let's look at the first accidental in particular. What is it?
F sharp.
It's an F sharp. So in the key of G minor, what is F sharp? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7?
7.
Correct. And so one of the things that you will commonly see in a minor key is a raised seventh. So in this case, it's F sharp instead of F natural.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a raised seventh. So we've got quite a few F sharps as we look through that first line. Oh, well, 2 in fact. And then there's some more later on. Okay, so this is definitely in G minor.
Okay.
Yeah. However, when we go
Through the whole
to
bar.
the main song here in bar 17, which is where the song actually starts, the one that we would recognize, I'm Getting Married in the Morning, what key are we in now?
Oh,
Hmm.
flat, C flat. F. And C.
So we have B flat, F, and D, which is?
It's B flat, isn't it?
It's a B flat major chord.
Yeah.
So now we've changed to the relative major. So the intro is written in G minor and probably 3 or 4 other keys by the looks of things. But once we get into the song proper, we're back into the major key. And that's not an uncommon thing to see. Okay. Let's see what else we've got going on here.
If you're listening to that song, Peter, being sung,
Yes.
I mean, it's easy to pick up a key change.
Yes.
If you're listening to the song and not looking at the music, it sounds different. But would it sound significantly different between the minor and the major key that's got the same key signature?
Yes. So, well, it depends. I shouldn't say yes. It depends. To me, it would sound significantly different. Some people have difficulty telling the difference between a major and a minor key if they're not familiar with it. So I guess it depends on who's listening. But to me, it's chalk and cheese between a major key and a minor key. I could even forget whether it's a relative major or the relative minor, just major and minor, very, very different sound. So, yes.
That's what happens in the song. When the song is sung, you know, I'm getting married in the morning. It's a definite change in the.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, let's have a look through and see if anything jumps out at us.
Not addressed to flat, a sharp. Sorry, I'll turn that off.
There's a lyric for a rest period in bar 35.
Yeah, that's a special technical term, fugue. Have you heard of a fugue before? It's a very technical thing in music. You have to learn that before you get your certificate. So you know the song, "If I am whistling, me out the door." It's just
Okay.
it's a sound rather than an actual sung thing. That's what that means.
Right, sometimes we get an X where you're supposed to say a lyric instead of sing it.
Yeah, sometimes they do that as well. Anyway, in this case, they've just put a rest, but
You were to me interpolation. It was up on the other page.
where?
There.
That's what, yeah.
Interpolation.
Is another word for that bridge?
It's not really a musical term. It's just whatever he's chosen to put there. It's kind of it's another song actually that he's put in here with a little bit of luck.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's kind of, this is a bit like a medley, except that little 4-bar section is it, and then you go back to "I'm getting married in the morning."
And what's the asterisk next to Bob's?
I think he just suggests that you might want to put quartet members' names in there or something. That's nothing musical. Okay, I don't think there's anything else there that's significant. Yeah? No? Okay. Let's have a look at this one. Key signature. What key are we in? So this time before you answer, check it out and make sure that you know whether it's the major or the minor. Let's not make a decision and just assume that it's going to be major.
See. Is it A?
Flat and
A flat is correct, yes. So we have again a vanilla A flat chord as the very first chord. So, yep, good. What's this mean? Art tempo.
where?
It means in time, as opposed to the other bit which was freely. So you could sort of do what you wanted in the first bars, but then you have to
Kind of, yeah. So the writ is actually what it's referring to. So writ means?
Getting slower?
Correct. So we've slowed down, and then this says go back to the main tempo. Okay. I can't see anything out of the ordinary. I think everything here is pretty normal. Oh, what do we got here? What's happening here in the tenor part?
where are we at?
Bar 63, the tenor part. And the bass part.
Triplet, or is it?
Yeah.
It's a triplet, but it's a triplet of minims, which is unusual.
Minim triplet.
Yeah, it's not usual to see minim triplets, but you will see them. You'll see a triplet of anything potentially, but minim triplets are pretty rare. So what does a triplet mean?
3 notes in the time of 2.
Correct, yeah. So we're in the key of, it's cut common, so 2 minims to a bar. And so we're going to have to fit these 3 minims into the time of 2 minims. So it's almost like we've changed from 2 in a bar to 3 in a bar. Kind of like we've changed from 2/4 to 3/4, if you like. That's what it's going to sound like in that particular bar. Okay.
Oh, there's some dotted ties there. What was that thing?
Where?
Look at that. What a map.
Bar 80. What's that?
Ladies.
Who's dotted?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know why they've done that, because you have to sing another syllable, so you can't tie it across. Because you're ending on much, and then you're going to sing got, so it can't be tied. So I'm not sure what the arranger has in mind there. It doesn't make sense musically. If you were playing an instrument, you could do that, but not when you're singing. So I don't know. Who arranged this? John Hall. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's just ignore that. That really makes no sense.
Looks very complicated.
Okay, so we have some more triplets happening here. Crotchet triplets this time.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I think everything's pretty straightforward here. Let's have a look at this one. Driving me crazy. So tell me about the time signature. What does it mean?
2/4. 2
To
beats.
4.
Hmm.
To what sort of beats to the bar?
Crotchet.
It's
Correct, yeah. And what key are we in?
This out.
Sorry, a D. I think.
D major.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first full bar on beat is where we would look to make our life easy. And it's, again, a very plain D major chord, nothing out of the ordinary there. What's this little thing at the top here mean?
It means
well, it's
Every time you see two quavers together, you sing it like that triplet, so slightly longer on the first note.
Correct. Yeah. So this is a you'll often hear it said that this is a swing indicator. So the arranger is saying we want this piece sung in swing time, not in straight time. So if I were to sing this as written, with a beat, beat, beat of a heartbeat, but if you swing it with a beat, beat, beat of a heartbeat, yeah. So, you know, you want to make it groovy instead of just singing every note as it's written. So you'll see that's quite a common notation. You'll see that often.
and it just means that you don't have to write all those triplets every.
Absolutely. It would be a pain to go through and write that all the way through. And not only a pain to write, but a pain to read. It would make life very difficult. So it's a lot easier just to see that at the top and then know what you're going to do for the whole song. Okay.
Peter,
Yes.
is the swing beat the same as backbeat, or
No.
is that they're different? Yeah.
No, so backbeat means, so in normal, let's say 4/4, where are the accents in 4/4? Which
On
beats?
1 and
Two.
to some extent on 3.
1 and 3.
1 and 3. Yeah, so there's a bit more of an accent on the first beat and a lesser accent on the third beat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Backbeat, which will be jazzy, bluesy type things, will have the accent on 2 and 4. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it just gives a very laid back, kind of lazy feel to the song. I'm trying to think of a good backbeat song. Not driving me crazy. What's that one we do in Hills Harmony?
Daydream.
Daydream, that's the one. And I can't even think how it goes. How does it start? Someone sing it.
Ba-doo,
what
ba-doo,
a day for a daydream.
ba-doo, ba-doo,
Yeah, that's it. What a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy. Wah, 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 wah. So, you know, it's a very lazy kind of beat. That's what backbeat is. So it's a
Mhm.
different thing altogether. Okay.
Thanks.
Hmm.
Okay, what does speb square mean? This is an important thing everybody should know. No, sorry. I'm
Society
just
for
joking.
Preservation and Encouragement of Men Barbershop Singing in America.
Ah, well done. Thank you. Top marks. Teacher's pet.
Where was that?
Sorry, it was just on the bottom of the music. I'm just being
Oh.
dumb.
Is it
Okay.
America or is it Australia? I thought it was Australia.
No, it's America. Yeah. It's now called Barbershop Harmony Society, but it used to be Speb Square. Whoever thought up that name, I don't know. Anyway.
They knew what they wanted.
Okay, got a key change. So we've gone from D major into what here in bar 65?
Um, A.
E flat major.
Correct. Yeah, so D major to E flat major. This is a common key change in vocal music because we've gone up a semitone. So it just kind of raises the pitch a little and makes the song more exciting as we go along. So you'll see lots of key changes where you just go up a semitone. Okay, good.
Peter, can you explain that? Because didn't you say D flat major to, what was it? D flat major?
It's D major. So if we go back, so with two
sorry.
sharps, so we
D
started
major.
in D major and now we're in E flat.
Right, okay. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, look, another key change. What key are we in now?
E major.
G.
E
Oh,
major.
sorry.
Yeah, you're right, E major. So we've gone up another semitone.
Mm.
So it obviously wasn't exciting enough with just one semitone up. Okay, and I think that's all. Okay. Let's have a look at one more. And then we're going to quickly do... Okay, come go with me. Tell me about the key.
G. G major.
G major. Yeah, we're in G major, correct. Tell me about the time signature.
4/4.
And what does it mean, 4/4?
4 crotchet beats.
To the bar.
Correct. Okay. There's not a whole lot out of the ordinary here.
In bar 40, what's that symbol in the tenor?
Bar 40. Oh, that's just something they made up because what they want the tenor to do there is to go, ow!
Oh.
So they thought, how are we going to notate that? Well, we'll put a star.
Okay.
It's not actually a musical notation. It's just whatever the arranger thought would go best.
And it's on a ledger line as well.
I think it's just a star that just happens to be right there. I don't think it's on a ledger line. I don't know. Maybe it's an X on a ledger line. Maybe that's what they've put there. I don't know. In fact, that's probably what it is. It's an X on a ledger line. You're quite right, Nigel. So yeah, they've put an X, meaning it's not actually on a pitch. So you'll see this sometimes where the note head, instead of being a round circle, is an X. It's most commonly used for percussion where it's not actually pitched. But sometimes when they want you to say words, so, you know, you might be singing along and then the arranger wants you to say 3 words. They'll put the X's as the note heads. And so that just means whatever pitch you want to do it at is fine. Okay, good spotting there, Phil.
Yeah, it's quick.
He is. Oh,
There's
here's
another
another.
one. There's another one, 56.
They've put a note stem on this one. So mostly when you have a note like that with an X, they put a stem with it so you can tell that it's actually a note. I don't know why they didn't put one up there earlier, but this is probably what you'll see more often, is an X with a stem.
Does that mean it's sung by the tenor?
Yes, in this case it is, yeah.
All right. And the other one might be sung by a different.
It was still the tenor.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put it. Anyway, doesn't matter too much.
Just interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's it. All right, any questions about anything that we've looked at anytime?
Just a comment. You've taught us a lot in this period.
We have covered a lot, yes. Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the time you're saying BGA. That would be, and some of us know it, some of us have written it down, but a lot of it is beyond me. I would need a list and try to learn those things. Is it possible to have or source a list of the components of chords and different things that we're going to be able to try and just see it and recognize it, but I would have to be trying to learn it before I could do that.
Yeah, so you're talking like GBD, ACE, DFA, that sort of thing?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so I would suggest you write it yourself. You can probably find lists online. So the chord, every basic chord, is made up of 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so if 1 is D, then 3 is going to be F, and 5 is going to be A, always. Is it going to be F sharp, or A sharp, or D sharp? The key signature will tell you that. So if you, D major, for example, is 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So in a DFA chord, the F sharp is going to be, the F is going to be sharp. So F sharp and A will be D major. If you want to know how to make it D minor, you simply have the D and A don't change. They're always the same, major or minor. And the middle note, the third, instead of F sharp, will become F natural. It will be 1 semitone lower. That's the only difference between a major and a minor chord, is the
I
third.
thought there was the 7th was also different, Peter, you said, or something. The 7th was lower, not the 3rd.
In a key, so if you're talking about a minor key, the 7th will often be raised. Not always, but often. Yeah, but we're talking about chords here. So this is kind of different to keys. Okay, so if you want to find out all the different permutations of chords, so write down A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let me, hang on, let me do this. So
while you're doing that, Pete,
yes.
something that I have heard thrown around in all sorts of places is the circle of fifths.
Yes.
And we haven't mentioned it. Is it something that it's specifically barbershop, or is it coming up? Is that the?
It's probably not something that we need to know about to sing barbershop. So circle of fifths is a device that's used by barbershop arrangers all the time. So circle of fifths means that they might have, let's say they start with, let's say we're in the key of A. So what's the fifth of A?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, E.
E. So we would play an A chord followed by an E chord. Then what's the fifth of E?
1, 2, 3, 4, C.
B. B. Okay, so we go A, then we go to the fifth of A, which is E, then we go to the fifth of E, which is B. Then we go to the fifth of B, which is F. Then we go to the fifth of F, which is C. Okay, and we can do that as long as we want. So we're just going to the fifth of each note. And you can do a whole circle and get back where you started from. And that's a common device that we use in barbershop. Do we need to know a lot about that in order to sing barbershop? I would say we probably don't. And I'm happy to get to that later.
No, I just,
Yeah. So it's something that's interesting, but it's not necessary to know about to read music at this point. So that's why I haven't gone there.
okay.
All right, so let's say I've written out here A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now let's say that we want to write a chord. So above A, we're going to write the fifth. Above B, we're going to write the fifth. Sorry, the third. What am I saying? So the third above A is C. The third above B is D. And then the third. The third. Okay, so then we do it again and we write the fifth. Okay, so there's our basic chord structure. It took us a whole 20 seconds to write. Okay, so you can write that yourself, and they're all the chords that you need to know. There are no other basic chords.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, as far as where the flats and sharps go, it depends on what key. Hang on, let me rephrase that. It depends on the key signature. Okay, so if you're talking A, then what's the key signature for A major? You don't know it. That's all right. I'll tell you. It's 4 sharps. Sorry, 3 sharps. What am I saying? So we're going to have a C sharp. So an A major chord will have a C sharp. It may actually be useful. I was going to do something else, but it may actually be useful to show you this little thing. Let me. Have anyone heard of a key circle?
Well, that is the circle. It's kind of related to the circle of fifths, isn't it? In terms of...
Yeah, let's draw a key circle. This is something I used all the time when I was learning music, you know, violin and also at uni. So you draw a clock face to start with. Do this on a, if you've got a sheet of paper or something, do it right now as I do it. So draw yourself a clock face. It doesn't have to be pretty. You can probably draw a lot faster with a pen than I can with this darn mouse. Okay. So up at 12 o'clock is a position for no sharps and no flats. The outside of the circle is the major keys. The inside of the circle is the minor keys. So what is the key with no sharps or flats? The major key with no sharps or flats?
C.
C major. What is the minor key with no sharps or flats?
A.
A minor. Okay, so that's our starting point. Now you need to know the little rhyme. Father Christmas gets dressed and, oops, and eats, oops, I got to learn to type one of these days. And eats breakfast. That is the order, whoops, go away. I don't want you. So that Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast is the order of the sharps. So the first sharp is always F sharp. The second sharp is always C sharp. And so what you do with the key circle is, what's the key that has, okay, one other thing I should mention is when you go to the left or anti-clockwise, that's the flat keys. When you go clockwise, it is the sharp keys. So we already know that the flat key, one flat, is F major, right? So here we've got F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So we just put Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast around. So that's all our sharp keys that have no extra, what's the word I'm after? Accidentals attached to it. Then we do the flat keys, and you just need to know where to start, basically. So B flat major is here. Sorry, I'm talking minors. B minor is there. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Anyone know how we got the order there? B, E, A, D, G, C, F?
Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast.
Back to front.
Backwards,
Just,
yeah?
yeah.
Exactly. So the first flat is always B flat. The second flat is always E flat. And so we're going to do that backwards. So there's our key signature half done. Then we start with
that again and point as you go. I didn't get what you said.
So the order here is Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast backwards. So B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So that's what we've put in around here on the minor keys. Then we do the major keys that have a flat, so B flat. So we're still going in reverse. E, A, D, G. And then we do the sharps, and we're going to go forwards this time. F, C, G, D, oops, A. Okay, so that looks pretty complicated when you look at it all laid out, but once you know where to start and finish everything, it's quite easy to draw. And so you can have a key circle drawn up. So the reason I've shown you that is let's go back to the chords where we've got A, C, E, B, D, F, C, E, G, and so on. If you want to know, for example, what a D major chord is, whether it has a sharp or a flat or whatever, so we're going to look D major. Where is it? It's on the outside because we're looking for a major key. D major is 2 clockwise from the center. So it has 2 sharps. And so the 2 sharps will be what notes?
F sharp and
What's the question, Bryn?
D sharp.
F sharp and C sharp. How do we know what sharps it will have? Because the F, C, G, D, A, E, B, Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast, that's the order of the sharps.
Dressed.
Yes. Okay, and the order of the flats is Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast backwards. So the order of the flats is B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So the first flat is always B. If you have 2 flats, it'll be B and E. If you have 3 flats, it'll be B, E, and A. Make sense?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So does the key circle make sense? Can everybody work out what a key signature is going to be using that key circle? No. Okay. All right. So C and A. Sorry, I'm pointing instead of using my mouse. I forget you're not sitting in front of me. C and A have no sharps or flats. So the 12 o'clock position is there's nothing in the key signature. When we go anti-clockwise, that's the flat direction. So F major has 1 flat, B flat major has 2 flats, E flat major has 3 flats, and so on, all the way around. When we go the other way, this is the sharp direction going clockwise. So G major has 1 sharp, D major has 2 sharps, A major has 3 sharps, E major has 4 sharps, and so on. Now, if we're going in the minor keys, E minor has 1 sharp, B minor has 2 sharps, F sharp minor has 3 sharps, and so on. And if we're going in the flat direction for minor keys, D minor has 1 flat, G minor has 2 flats, and so on. So does that make sense? So we can read the key circle. So we know we can look at that and work out how many sharps or flats there are in any key.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah, good. Okay, so we got that. So
Well, excuse me, Peter. On the flat side there, and we've got B, E, A. What's the A beside the A?
B.
sorry, that's my really bad typing. That's meant to be a B.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So that
And-
should be A flat. Yeah, not AA. Yeah.
And are you missing the flat off the F as well?
Which F?
Top
The
one.
the first flat position.
This one?
Yes.
No, because F major has 1 flat. It's not F flat major.
Okay.
Yeah, F major has 1 flat. Okay, so we can read the key circle and we can work out how many sharps or flats there are in a particular key. So once we've worked it out, so let's say it's E flat major. How many sharps or flats do we have?
3
3
3 watts.
flats.
3 flats, correct. So how do we know what 3 notes are going to be flat?
Count up to the 3rd and the 5th.
No.
No.
So how do we tell the order of the flats? It's the Father Christmas gets dressed and eats backwards, and eats breakfast backwards, okay? I should have started on the sharp. Let's go to the sharp side for starters. Okay, let's say it's E major. How many sharps? 4 sharps. And so Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast is the order of the sharps. So we've got E major, there are 4 sharps. The first sharp is F, the second sharp is C, the third sharp is G, and the fourth sharp is D. So in E,
You have to point as you do that because I didn't get it. I got the E, started with the E.
so we're in the key of E major.
Yes.
The first sharp is F. The second sharp is C. The third sharp is G. And the fourth sharp is D. Okay, so we use this Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast to lay out the key circle, but it also tells us the order that the sharps come in. So let's look at another one. Let's look at B minor. How many sharps or flats?
2 sharp.
2 sharp.
2 sharps, correct.
No.
And what are those 2 sharps?
F sharp and C sharp, I think.
Correct. Yeah, so Father Christmas, F sharp and C sharp. Okay, so now if we're going to do the flats, we do that little rhyme backwards. Okay, so the first flat is B, the second flat is E, the third flat is A, and so on. Okay, so if we're in the key of A flat major, how many flats?
4
4 flats. And what are they?
D, Delta, Golf, Charlie, and Foxtrot.
No.
Or if you like,
No.
Dressed Gets Christmas Father.
No.
Oh,
So,
no, A is
4
the
flats.
first one.
So we're in A flat major. The first flat is
Oh, so it's
B
and
flat.
D.
what? How did you work that out?
Because B is the last one in the rhyme. Breakfast, right, is the last one. So for flats, it becomes the first one because we're going to do it backwards.
Oh, you don't. So you always start from the end. You don't start from what the key was.
No.
Right.
This rhyme is the same for every key. It doesn't matter what the key is. The first sharp is always F sharp. The first flat is always B flat. There's
Right.
never any exception to that.
Right.
Okay, so we're in A flat major. So the first sharp is B flat. The second sharp, the first flat is B flat. The second flat is
B flat,
E flat. The third flat is
A flat,
A flat. And the fourth flat is
D.
D flat.
D flat. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Now,
Maybe. All right, let's do
No,
another
I'm
one.
lost.
Let me write it out the opposite way.
So I think, yeah. The point is that when you're doing the sharps, F is always 1, C is always 2, G is always the third, etc. And when
Right.
you're doing the flats, B is always 1, E is 2. It's the. I thought that you had to start where you were on the circle, but you don't. You are
No,
always start at one end or the other.
correct. So this is the rhyme. Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast backwards. I'd never learned a rhyme for the backwards one. I just know it. Okay, so this is the order of the flats. This is the order of the sharps. So let's look at another key. So let's say we are in the key of C minor. What's the key signature?
C minor.
3 flats.
3 flats.
3 flats. And what are they?
B, E, and A.
C,
Correct.
E.
B, E, A. Let's say we're in the key of B major. What's the key signature?
2 sharps.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sharps.
5 sharps is correct. We always start at 12 o'clock and work our way around. So we're in 5 sharps. What are they?
F, C, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp.
Correct. And he got that by going through F, C, G, D, A. Yeah, good. Let's look at F minor. What's the key signature?
Minor.
4 flats.
4
4
flats.
flats is correct. And what are they?
B, A, D.
B, E, and A.
B, E, A, D.
Correct. B, E, A, D. Yeah. So does that make sense? Everyone understand how
Yeah.
we work out what key is
B,
what?
E, A, D.
Yes.
No, I'm lost.
You lost? Okay.
Yes.
So do you understand how we work out the number of sharps or flats from the key circle?
Hmm.
Yep. Okay.
No, but you explained it. You said for F minor it was 4. And you start at the top of the clock, but you're starting 1 to the left of the top of the clock, are you, to get 4?
So here's 0 sharps and flats. This is 1 flat, 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats. So F minor is 4 flats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
So it's not 4 dots, but the first one is 1. Yeah. Okay, but we always start from C major and A minor. So they're the 2 keys that you just need to know, have no sharps or flats. Okay, so if we want to find the key signature that has 5 sharps, tell me what they are. What are the 2 keys, the major and minor keys with 5 sharps?
B and
B
G.
major and G minor.
G sharp minor, yeah. B major, G sharp minor have 5 sharps, correct. Okay, so is everyone clear with how to do that? How to work out how many sharps or flats just using the key circle? All good with that one?
Hmm.
No.
No? Okay.
I'm not. What I thought you said was if it has 1 flat, the first flat is always F, the second one is always B, the second one is always E. Right.
Third one.
And then you went round to F and you said, right, what are the flats involved with this? And you said B, E, A, and D.
Okay, so we're mixing up 2 different things.
Oh, right.
So, so let's forget about the order of the flats or the sharps for the minute. For right now, let's just look at the key circle and nothing else. Okay, so C major and A minor, no sharps or flats. You go 1 step, so 11 o'clock is 1 flat, F major, D minor. 2 steps, B flat major, G minor has 2 flats, and so on. Yeah, and if we go in the sharp direction, 1 step towards the sharp direction, G major or E minor has 1 sharp. 2 sharps, D major, B minor, and we can go all the way around and all, yeah. So we can work out how many sharps or flats that we have in each key. This is not what notes are sharpened or flattened. This is just how many there are. That's all the key
Just how
circle
many.
does. Just how many, number of sharps or flats. That's it. That's all it's going to tell us. Okay? So does that part of it make sense? Anyone not
Yes.
getting that? Yeah? Okay, good. So then the second thing is, once we know how many, is to say which notes are going to be sharp and or flat. And that's where the two rhymes come in, or the one rhyme. Father Christmas gets dressed and eats breakfast. That tells us which sharps are going to be, which notes are going to be sharp. So if we have a key signature, let's not worry about what key it is, but if we have a key signature with 3 sharps, the first sharp is always F sharp. The second sharp is always C sharp. The third sharp is always G sharp. That's the order of the sharps. Okay, so the key circle tells us the number of sharps or flats. The rhyme tells us which notes are sharp or flat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone get that? Okay. All right. So we need to know that if we want to work out what say a major chord is or a minor chord, but we're not going to go there tonight because I think we're probably all nearly brain dead. So I think we'll call it quits there. We will do some more work on the key circle next week and go over this whole thing again. Because it's important to know and to get how this works. So drawing, you can actually, I will look up online. There's pretty key circles that are drawn already for us, and I'll be able to email that through to you, so that we don't have to have a scribbled one like we have here. All right. Any other questions from tonight? Too many to ask? Okay, I get you. All right, well, let's call it quits tonight and look for an email from me, hopefully in the morning, with the video and a key circle drawn out really nicely.
You
Thanks,
can now understand why they say that mathematics and music are linked.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, very much so. Okay. All done.
Good
for
on you, Peter.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank
See you all
you.
next
Thank
week.
you.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.